In a move that has sparked both hope and controversy, U.S. President Donald Trump has announced plans to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin in Hungary, citing great progress during their recent phone call. But here's where it gets controversial. This meeting comes at a critical juncture, just as Trump is weighing whether to supply Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles capable of striking deep into Russia. Could this be a game-changer in the Ukraine conflict? Or a risky escalation? Let's dive in. The call that started it all. Trump described his Thursday call with Putin as very productive, marking their first conversation since mid-August. The two leaders agreed to hold face-to-face talks in Budapest, though no specific date has been confirmed. The Kremlin echoed this sentiment, calling the call extremely frank and trustful, and stated that preparations for the summit would begin immediately. Meanwhile, teams from Washington and Moscow are set to meet next week, with Secretary of State Marco Rubio leading the U.S. delegation. Timing is everything. The timing of this announcement is no coincidence. It comes just a day before Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's visit to the White House, where the topic of Tomahawk missiles is expected to dominate discussions. Zelensky, upon arriving in the U.S., pointedly remarked that Moscow is rushing to resume dialogue as soon as it hears about Tomahawks. This raises a critical question. Is Russia genuinely seeking peace? Or is this a tactical move to avoid further military pressure? The Tomahawk dilemma. Trump's stance on providing Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles is nuanced. While Zelensky has repeatedly requested these advanced missiles, which have a range of 2,500 kilometers, 1,500 miles, Trump has expressed concern about depleting the U.S. stockpile. "We need them too," he told reporters, leaving the issue unresolved. This hesitation has not gone unnoticed by Ukraine's ambassador to the U.S., Olga Stefanishyna, who criticized Russia's overnight strikes on Ukraine just hours before the Putin-Trump call. She argued that such actions reveal Moscow's true intentions, emphasizing the need for tougher sanctions and military support for Ukraine, a controversial interpretation. And this is the part most people miss. Trump's approach to Russia has evolved significantly. Initially seen as more sympathetic to Russia than his predecessor, Joe Biden, Trump's relations with Zelensky hit a low point in February when he publicly berated the Ukrainian president. However, recent months have seen a marked improvement, with Trump even suggesting in September that Kyiv could win all of Ukraine back in its original form. This shift has left many wondering, is Trump genuinely committed to Ukraine's sovereignty, or is this a strategic pivot to maintain U.S. influence in the region? Global reactions. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán welcomed the planned Budapest meeting as great news for the peace-loving people of the world. Orbán has long advocated for negotiations with Russia, stating, "Peace requires patience, strength, and humility. Europe must shift its stance." But not everyone shares this optimism. Critics argue that engaging with Putin without concrete concessions could legitimize Russia's actions in Ukraine. The bigger picture. Trump's efforts to broker peace in Ukraine have been fraught with challenges. During his presidential campaign, he boldly claimed he could end the war within days, but has since admitted the conflict is more complex than anticipated. His August summit with Putin in Alaska failed to produce a breakthrough, and subsequent communications between the two leaders have been scarce. A thought-provoking question. As we reflect on these developments, a pressing question emerges. Is diplomacy with Russia the key to ending the Ukraine war? Or does it risk emboldening further aggression? Share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. Final thoughts. The upcoming Trump-Putin meeting in Hungary is more than just a diplomatic event. It's a test of global leadership and resolve. With Ukraine's future hanging in the balance, the world will be watching closely. Will this meeting pave the way for peace, or will it deepen the divide? Only time will tell.